Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to try to make Windows 10 IoT, Raspberry Pi 2, SignalR, ASP.NET Web API all work together and turn on and off a desk lamp. I'm just going to be using desk lamp, but you can imagine that you should be able to turn on and off anything, whether it's a fan, camera, an appliance, anything. Okay? Before we get to that, here's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that you already have Windows 10 IoT running on your Raspberry Pi 2. If you haven't done that yet, go to this website, devwindows.com, click Get Started, skip to step 3, and this will walk you through installing Raspberry Pi 2. Installing Windows 10 IoT on Raspberry Pi 2. By the time you finish these steps, you should have a Raspberry Pi running Windows 10 IoT. I've done that part, and I have Raspberry Pi 2 running Windows 10 IoT. Okay. The second part is the hardware setup. I will be turning on and off a desk lamp. The desk lamp looks like this. Make sure you have desk lamp disconnected. The desk lamp disconnected from the wall socket. And I'm using desk lamp that looks like this. It has an inline switch. So what I did was I removed the switch. After I removed it from the socket, remove the switch. There's two wires over here that this switch closes and opens, right? So I'll be using those wires and connecting them to a relay later on. So this is what the lamp looks like. All right. Second part is the actual hardware setup for your Raspberry Pi. Go to my website, africangeek.com. Okay. Go to geofence garage door using Raspberry Pi. Go to the second one, part 2. Go to that one. And the only difference is that time in April I was using Raspbian. That's before Windows 10. I was using Raspbian to open and close the garage door. The setup will be almost identical, except that I won't be opening and closing garage door. I'll be turning on and off a desk lamp. Okay, here is the Raspberry Pi pin layout. Okay, I'll be using pin number 2, which is 5 volts. It's the first one on top. Pin number 6, which is the ground, is pin number 3. And pin number 16, which is GPIO 23, which is, if you're counting it, it will be the 8th one from the top. 1, 2, 3, 8 is pin 16. Okay, pin number 2, pin number 6, and pin 16. All right, you can pick any other pin you like for the signal. I'm using 16 in case you're following along. All right, after I did the pins that I'm going to use, I hooked up jumper wires. I'm using red for the 5 volt, black for the ground, and green for the signal. You can use any colors you like. You just have to remember which one is which, so you can transfer that to the relay later on. Okay, so I'm moving my wires from the Raspberry Pi to a small breadboard here. I'm putting red on the red rail here, ground on the ground rail, black and red. On my signal, I picked this hole over here. It doesn't matter what you pick, but you just gotta know which column or row, depending on how you're looking at it. Okay, here's the relay I'll be using. If you don't know where we find this relay, just go to Amazon, and this is what the relay looks like, and it's like $5, I guess. So this is the relay I'll be using. Let's go back here. So the relay has, if you're looking at it the way I'm looking at the way this picture is taken, if you're looking at it the same way, the top one will be the normally open. That's what we're going to use, the normally open. The desk lamp will be turned off, which means the circuit will be open usually, and then we close it when you want to turn it on. All right, we're going to use the top one and the center one. And the pins, we're going to use the black one will go here, which is ground, or whatever ground color you picked. The ground will go to the top one, the 5 volt one will go to the center one, and the signal one will go to the bottom one. So that's what I did over here. I put the black, red, and then green. All right, So now you're going to need a little flat tip screwdriver. like this, little flat tip. You're gonna have to loosen up this screws, the top two. We're gonna be using the normally open and the center one. Then after you hook up your lamp, your desk lamp, where you disconnected the inline switch, will go into here. It doesn't matter which one goes to where. You just go one into the normally open one and one into the center one. Okay. And when you do this, make sure that the insulation over here is touching the relay. You don't want to have any wires exposed, because this can start a fire or even can harm you. Okay, so be extremely careful. And when you are doing this, make sure that the light is unplugged from the wall socket. Okay, so that's the hardware part. Now we're going to move to the software part. Okay, we have the hardware part set up. The Pi is running Windows 10 IoT. We are ready for some Visual Studio work. Start Visual Studio 2015. File, New, Project. Select Web, ASP.NET Web Application. I will name this lamp.server because it's going to be server side. I will change the solution name to Home Stuff. Okay, then I'll click OK. I will select Web API and check the host in the cloud. I'll take care of this when I'm ready to publish. Click OK. First, we'll create the server side, publish it to Azure, then create the client side, run it on the Pi, and then try to turn on and off our lamp. But before we do that, let's unhook the lamp from the wall socket. We just want to listen to for the clicking sound from the relay. When we are happy with that, we'll hook up the lamp to the wall. Alright, so now I will close this page. I will get this out of the way, and now we're going to go to NuGet, manage, right click on the project, manage NuGet packages, look for SignalR, ASP.NET SignalR, select it, click install. This will take a few seconds. I will accept this. This little message is telling us we need to go to startup class, the configuration manager, and map SignalR. You can copy this or type if you like. I'm just going to copy, close this, look for the startup right here, configuration, just paste the code in here or type it, save, close it. Now I will create a folder. Right click on the project, add folder. I will name this hubs. In the hubs class, I will add class. You can add SignalR hub class, but I'll just add regular class here. I'll call it lamp hub. Click add. I will inherit from hub. This will require using statement to SignalR. I'll bring that in. In here, I'll just add one property. Is going to be static bool, and I'll name it turn on. I'll save this, close it. Now I'll move to the controllers. Right click, add controller. I'll select Web API to controller, the empty one. Click add. I'll name this lamp. Click add. In here I'll create a get method. It's going to be public, will not return anything, and we'll expect bool, and this will be the same name, turn on. Inside of this method I will create hub context for our hub we created. It's going to be global host. This will require using a statement. I'm missing another L here. using statement to SignalR, bring it in, dot connection manager dot get hub context, and this will be the lamp. So now we have context. This will require using a statement to our hubs folder. Bring that in. So now we can set the turn on to whatever is passed here in case we need it. So lamp hub dot turn on is whatever is passed here. Alright, and now you can just tell everybody else who's listening to this whatever is passed, tell them whatever this is. Okay, you just pass it through. So you're gonna say lamp context dot clients dot all of them, and now here's dynamic, so you can name whatever you want. This is what you're gonna call from the client side, so I will call it on switch. All right, and I'll just pass whatever that was passed to me, whatever the caller wanted. Right, cool. Now our server side is done. Let's make sure everything's builds fine. That looks good, right? Now I'm gonna right click and publish this guy. Still building, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna right click on the project, publish. I'm gonna select Microsoft Azure web apps. I'm already logged in. If you're not, you can log in. I'll create a new one, new web app. I'll name this no, let's call it home IoT, something like that. Okay, I'll select my plan. I'll use one of these. When I'm ready, I'm going to create. This will take about a minute. I'll just cut this off and then I'll skip to the one is completed. Okay, you can validate connection if you like. I'm just going to go ahead and publish. Alright, started up Chrome after publish was completed. I'm going to try to open my website after it's published. Remember, we call it home IoT .azurewebsites.net. Click API. Look for the one we created right here. You can just copy that piece if you like, and it will go here later on. We're not returning anything now, but you can return something if you like. So it's going to be true or false here. Right? So we'll wait because we don't have anybody listening right now, right? We will add the client side now. Okay, we are ready to create the client project. Right click on the solution, click add new project. We're going to select this time Windows Universal blank application. I will name this lamp.client this time. All right, click OK. All right, I'll go ahead and close app.xaml.cs. I will right click on the project, manage NuGet. I will look for SignalR again. This time we are looking for the client one. Select that, install. I will accept this. Next, we will add reference to Windows IoT extensions. I will close NuGet here, right click, add reference, select extensions, Windows IoT extensions, click OK. Now we are ready to talk to the GPIO pins. Let's go to main page code behind. We're not going to make any UI. Here, first we will create GPIO pin. we will need using a statement to devices.gpio. You can name whatever you want this GPIO, but you keep in mind this is for the signal pin that we hooked up to the relay. Is pin 16 GPIO 23. I will name this GPIO 23, and then I will override on navigator 2. Okay, in here first I will call a method that doesn't exist yet. I will call this method setup GPIO, right, and it will take no arguments. I will let Visual Studio stub it up for me. I will make this async and change it to task instead of void. I'll bring in using a statement to threaten that tasks. In here, first thing I will do is I will create a GPIO controller. Alright. Oops. Now I'll check if the GPIO controller is null or not. If it's null, we cannot move on, else we'll move on. GPIO controller, if it's null, then we will just go ahead and set the GPIO pin 23 to null so we don't use it down the line. GPIO 23, we're going to set it to null, and then we're just going to return out of here. Otherwise, we're going to move on. We're going to set GPIO 23 GPIO controller dot is it set pin? Nope. What is it? Let's see. It is open pin, I think. Also, I can't remember this. No, this is not 23. That's the problem. GPIO controller dot open pin 23. All right. So now we have GPIO 23. We're going to create another method that will set up the hub for us. So we're going to name it setup hub. It will take no arguments, and we're gonna let Visual Studio create stuff for us. And we'll make sure this is also async. In here, the first thing we're gonna do is create hub connection. So this will be, we're gonna name it hub connection. Hub connection. This will require using a statement to SignalR. Bring that in, and we will have to pass this as a string, the URL of our site. This here. Okay, let's just copy that piece. Alright, and just paste it here. Alright, this will be new. Cool. So now we have connection. We're gonna get the hub. You name hub connection dot create hub proxy, and here we'll pass that hub name we created here, the one in the hubs. Okay, just the same name. All right, so that's that. Now we have the hub hub dot on. We know it's gonna get bool, and here is that dynamic method in the controller. Dynamic name, we named it here in lamp controller on switch. It's gonna match that name. All right, let's go back, just paste that name in here, and we're gonna have to handle the callback. So just let's say handle callback. You can name whatever you want to, and we're gonna let Visual Studio create this too. So we have, let's change the object here to turn on. Hub connection, that we're going to start it. We'll take a new long hauling transfer or transport, sorry, what am I thinking? Transport. This will require using statement to client SignalR client transports. Alright, so this is the one. Here we're gonna await this guy. Cool. Let's complete that. Cool. So now in the callback, now we can set our GPIO to high or low. But first we will see if our pin GPIO 23 is null or not. So let's check that. GPIO 23, if it's null, then we can't move on. We cannot move on, so we're just going to return. We can't talk to the GPIO, we can't turn on any lights, right? Otherwise we will move on. We're going to check if turn on. If we want to turn it on, then GPIO pin 23, that we're going to set the mode. What is it? Set drive mode. We're going to set it to output, and then GPIO 23, we're going to write high because it's on, else let's move this, drag this guy, oops, over here. Alright, so we don't have to do it twice. Remove this, remove this, and let's copy this line again, and this time we're going to set it to low. There you go. So we will check if the GPIO pin is null. If it's null, we're not going to do anything, we're just going to return out of there. If not, we're going to set the drive mode to output, and then if it's on, we're going to set it to high, else we're going to set it to low. Cool. So now the server side is already running. Next we're going to have to set this project, let's put a breakpoint here too. This project here, the client one, to the startup project. Okay, we'll set this to ARM, and then remote machine. You can go look at your IP address on your Pi, or you can just go to your watcher here, the Windows IoT core watcher. Right click, copy IP address, just paste it here, change to Windows, from Windows here to none, and then select it. Usually if I try to debug it, sometimes it fails. It asks me to publish it first. Visual Studio asks me to publish it before I can debug it. So I'm just going to right click and deploy it first. Okay, we're going to deploy it to the Pi. Okay, still trying to deploy, building it. Now deploy started. Okay, deploy succeeded. All right, now we're gonna start debugging. So I'm gonna go set up the camera. All right, I don't have the lamp connected to my outlet yet. We'll do it first. We'll just test it without it, so we don't start fires here. All right, so now I'm gonna start debugging on the remote machine, which is the Raspberry Pi. So let's see. I'm gonna let you see this starting up. This is the camera on my monitor. So my application is started over there. There's nothing. There's no UI there. So now we're gonna go to our site. We will send on message. Okay, remember this was our API call. I'm listening for the relay to make noise because the power is not connected to the light yet. So the callback is happening here. Oops. Okay, and true is what was passed through here. I'll just remove this and continue. I'll remove the breakpoint and continue. I can hear my the noise of the relay now. I'll send false. I can hear the noise still. So now I'll hook up the power. So I have the power hooked up. I'm gonna put this guy on this side. Doesn't need. I'm gonna put it right there, and I'll select the camera here. So this time I'll send true. So now I have the power hooked up. The light came on. I'll send false. The light came on. False. The light went off. Yay! So that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye bye.